But it's $1 million up for each one. That's $5 million, Mr. 28 million in Forbes. Bring yours however you want. And since you're not a puppet, don't bring no white people with you then. That's a $5 million bet individually. You can take it all, or you can take it part and parcel. This is the new movement. And tell them plastic cup boys, we make enough money to drink out of real glassware.
I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Okay. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about. Yeah.
Katt Williams has just pointed out a surprising hidden message in Diddy's recently leaked jail call, and it's truly eye-opening. In a past clip, Katt made a hand gesture while speaking about a movement, a symbol of love, forming the heart. This connects directly to the No movement. Now, think back. Do you remember what Diddy changed his name to a few years ago?
See, Diddy's my nickname. Love is my real name.
Okay.
So I just changed my name to Love. Sean Love Combs. That's what it says on my driver's license. That's my official name, Love.
Katt Williams is clearly calling out Diddy, making a bold statement by breaking apart the heart symbol in the clip. Along with this, he drops cryptic hints about plastic, pizza boxes, and other suspicious activities Diddy might be involved in. While Katt often speaks in riddles, one chilling line stands out. He mentions a price of $1 million per box. This has sparked speculation, with some believing that pizza boxes could be a disturbing code for children, suggesting that Diddy might be instructing his associates to make them disappear for an outrageous sum.
But it's $1 million up for each one. That's $5 million, Mr. 28 million in Forbes.
This alleged leaked call from Diddy in prison was talking about getting rid of pizza boxes. Now, if you know your stuff and you're privy, you know exactly what pizza stands for, and that's probably what they're talking about and referring to on this alleged leaked call. Pizza, for those who don't know, I'm gonna make it very clean. It has to do with children and selling.
Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked.
The mention of plastic that Diddy wants to get rid of is still a mystery, leaving many questioning its true meaning. In the clip, Katt Williams directly calls out some of the asterisk plastic cup boys asterisk, hinting at a deeper conflict. While the full story remains unclear, it's clear that Katt is challenging something bigger beneath the surface.
Tell them plastic cup boys, we make enough money to drink out of real glassware.
There's growing speculation that Katt Williams might be hinting at a secret code for Diddy's hidden stash of baby oil. This wouldn't be the first time Katt has taken shots at Hollywood's elite. He has a long history of calling out the so-called Illuminati, often joking about figures like Diddy and Jay-Z. Whether he's just stirring the pot or revealing something deeper, his words always seem to spark controversy.
Katt Williams just went on Joe Rogan and completely exposed the satanic rituals in Hollywood, the agenda to feminize men, and compared the Transformer movement to the Baphomet. Listen to this.
Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is.
Katt goes on to say the first time he heard of a Transformer was the Baphomet, and that he's seen this agenda coming 20 years ago. This is all interesting because if you've been watching my videos for a while, you've seen me call it the Baphomet agenda, like what Madonna's doing to her son she adopted from Africa. Charlize Theron and her kid, she started transforming at 3 years old. Ex-NBA player Dwayne Wade and his kid. What about Machine Gun Kelly and his girlfriend Megan Fox, who've admitted to doing satanic rituals in which they consume each other's blood? Megan Fox has done the same things with hers. MGK did this to his body in order to prove his love to Megan Fox. And Hollywood's been feminizing some of the biggest male entertainers. Now listen to Katt.
The earliest I had seen that word gender was Baphomet.
This is a spiritual war. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Hollywood puts people at the forefront for us to worship and idolize. And these are the same people who worship and idolize Satan. It is time for us to break free of the shackles they've had on our minds. Satan is going all out because he knows his time is short. Time to wake up.
Did you know that Katt Williams has had his own clashes with Suge Knight, Diddy's longtime rival and a close associate of Tupac? Suge, now serving a 28-year sentence in federal prison, once had a tense encounter with Katt that he barely avoided. Their rocky history adds yet another twist to the already complicated web of connections in the hip-hop world.
Understand consequences and repercussions very well.
Okay.
So, my question to you is, why are you such a habitual line stepper? Why do you cross that line so often when you know what the repercussions and consequences are going to be? And they're not going to be favorable to you. For example,
Right.
I saw where you and Suge got arrested, right? You and Suge got arrested. Is that true?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Like, and
What were we doing?
allegedly it had something to do with like some type of photography, a camera or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm just sure. I'm just saying this is what I read.
I'll tell you the story, and you tell
Tell me
me,
the story.
then does that change how you frame this?
Okay.
So, we have a meeting with a hologram company, which is going to go into a licensing deal on some holograms. This is in Beverly Hills. So now there's a rodeo, and behind that is an alleyway where you park your vehicles. That's where we are. Suge has brought his son with him who's 5 years old. And before we go into this meeting, Suge's son runs behind the dumpster and urinates. And a lady films his penis out, peeing behind the dumpster. And then says, "Oh, I thought that was Katt's kid." So yeah, that's what happened.
See, man, this is
So
why
understand, we were facing 20 years,
Yeah.
Suge and I. 20 years for that. And if it wasn't for the fact that this is Beverly Hills and it's all on camera, they had no problem sending us up the river when we couldn't have possibly done what was being said. That lady said that she got jumped on by me.
So you see what you just did? You just clarified a huge, misconception about, the events of that evening or whatever.
Yeah, but remember, it went to court.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just my word. They had to play the video in court, which showed that her altercation wasn't with a man at all.
But the trip part about it is that when people print it, when the media, mainstream media put it out there, they don't add that piece. They
No,
just say,
nor do they make a retraction.
Right.
Nor do they say, hey, that thing we told you about that
Right.
guy, turns out it was nothing. Understand, I got 15 cases that were dismissed. That should be talked about. Why would 15 cases be dismissed? Because you were so sure you had what you were looking at. Because every city I go to, I'm the nigga with the best car. It's probably smoke coming out that car. It's probably girls gathering around that car. I look like the plug. I get it. And you've probably already hurt me by the time you find out who I actually am.
While Katt Williams drops subtle hints about Diddy, Suge Knight is making loud and direct claims from behind bars. In a recent interview, he didn't hold back, revealing shocking details about Diddy and suggesting that the music mogul's life might be at serious risk inside the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York. With both Katt and Suge speaking out, the speculation around Diddy continues to grow.
The most important thing is there's got to be a solution, because this has been going on in the industry for a whole bunch of years, for decades. And at the same time, nobody wants this to be true, and it shouldn't have to be true.
Suge Knight, the founder of Death Row Records and one-time enemy of Sean Diddy Combs, talks about Combs' arrest by the feds in an interview with News Nation. I look at what the one-time record company owner said about Combs from behind prison walls. And this week, he called Chris Cuomo on News Nation, and he had a lot to say about Sean Combs and what's going on with his case and the allegations of sex trafficking being made against him. One thing he talked about is whether or not he believes Sean Combs is safe being in jail. Sean Combs didn't want to be in jail. He wanted to post a bail of $50 million, but the judge denied that request. He's in the MDC, and that's a federal prison with a really awful reputation. Knight was asked whether he thinks Combs is safe behind bars.
I don't ever want to say he's in danger, and neither should he say that. Because once he gets to the point where they feel he's going to be suicidal to himself, harmful to himself, once they put him on suicide watch, you have the rights to nothing. No socks, no drawers, no t-shirt, no blanket, no sheets. You asshole naked in a cell as a crazy man. So he definitely don't want to do that. And the other advice I would tell him, maybe he should get on the Jewish diet. Because the kosher meals is way better than the food somebody else is making for you. At least they're going to come hot, they're going to come sealed, and you got to be the one to open them. That's very important.
What about people trying to hurt him?
Go to jail. One of the things is this. I don't care who you are. Prison and jail is a negative environment. Somebody can do something to them and get a name for themselves, they're going to actually do it. Or they can do whatever they feel they got to do to prove themselves. But we also got to learn. We got to learn from our mistakes. Everything don't have to be a mistake. You got to better yourself. But we all know what we sign up for in life.
Suge Knight also exposes alleged details about Diddy's involvement in wild freak-offs dating back to 2008. He sheds light on a scandalous history that has largely stayed hidden until now. With these revelations, more questions are being raised about what really goes on behind the scenes in the industry.
Knight then offered his thoughts on the freak-offs.
Well, number one, luckily, I wasn't their first choice, their second choice. I wasn't no choice to be at those freaky parties. But you know what they show. They used to have a thing in the industry, right? And the sad thing about it, I don't like mentioning Usher. I don't like mentioning Justin Bieber. I don't like mentioning all these people that everybody know what time it is. So at the same time, they used to have a joke. They never played this joke with me. And they used to walk in the Interscope office. They'll go back there and they'll be like, hey, we passed the test. I said, we haven't did the test. One dude said, well, don't say that in front of Mr. Knight because he's going to take it offensive and hurt somebody. I said, well, whatever it is, I probably will take it offensive when somebody will get their ass whooped. That was me in those days. But they used to have these guys, they used to call it the boiled egg test. They used to take a boiled egg, a raw boiled egg, and have those guys put their pants down and bend over and they stick it up. The eggs break, they say they're not ready yet. They ain't put enough work in. This is Hollywood. So everybody want to go act like they don't know what's going on.
Hold on a second,
but
Suge.
if you just look,
Suge,
all you got to do is
I have never heard of anything like that. So if I haven't heard about it, just assume a lot of people haven't heard that before. But you think it's on video?
Let's stop for a second.
Go ahead, Suge.
Yeah, listen, and also, have you ever been to any puffy parties?
No.
You sure they had a long time to think about it, but if you haven't been in those butt-naked parties, even some of the preachers been in those parties, and they wasn't on their knees praying for God. See, they was praying for somebody to have come real quick or something, but I wasn't there, but there's proof of it. But at the same time, everybody want to look around and act like something going on that wasn't right. It's the facts of life in the industry.
So that was kind of graphic, but this is what Suge Knight is saying, and at one point, he ran in these circles. Knight also talked about Sean Combs, who he calls Puffy, because that's how he knew him in the 90s, as Puffy, being violent with Cassie Ventura, and a woman he called Capricorn.
The infamous East Coast-West Coast feud was a heated battle between Diddy's Bad Boy Records and Suge Knight's Throw Records. This rivalry shaped the hip-hop industry and led to some of its most intense moments. Before diving deeper into the ongoing speculation about Diddy, it's crucial to understand how this conflict unfolded and the lasting impact it had on both sides.
So this is why everybody thinks Diddy, Tupac. You know the whole mystery surrounding Tupac? Well, it's not a mystery. This guy told police a long time ago that he's the one who did it. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, that doesn't look like Diddy. And well, you're right. His name is Keefy D, and he was friends with a guy named Diddy. And well, Diddy had a problem, and his problem's name was Suge Knight, a record executive who had a reputation for violence. And well, one day during an award show, he says, "Join my record label. I won't dance around in your videos like some other people." Everybody looked at Diddy. Diddy said, "What? No, you're not talking about me. Diddy's boy said, Diddy, come on. Diddy said, I'm gonna go talk to him. So he goes over to Suge Knight. He runs into a brick wall. He said, what this wall doing here? His boy said, Diddy, look up. Diddy looks up. He said, oh. Suge Knight said, is there a problem? Diddy said, no, I just want to know who you was talking about. Now, Diddy claims that Suge Knight said he was talking about somebody else and not him. But that's not what it looked like, because a few months later, Diddy and Suge Knight get in an argument at a party. Now, Diddy has some real around him, so he's chilling. He said, what, Suge? But Suge wasn't worried, because see, there's something I forgot to tell you. Suge was affiliated with a group of individuals called the Bloods. For those of you that don't know, they were a gang that started in LA, and they had a legendary rivalry with another gang called the Crips. But remember that group of people I told you with Diddy? They were from the Crips. So the argument escalates to like a scuffle. Suge Knight and his really close friend against Diddy's crew. Diddy was like, I thought we was just talking. Security then throws him out. Diddy's people walk over to Suge with a security tries to stop them, but Suge Knight's friend, Diddy said, oh, snap. Diddy goes home. Diddy said he can't be that mad, right? Diddy's people said, he hung Vanilla Ice off a balcony. Diddy said, so he calls his friend, Keefy D. Well, it turns out Keefy D was also the leader of a group of Crips. Diddy tells him, yo, I'm terrified. Keefy D said, well, you should be. There's a war going on in LA because of what happened between you guys. Diddy said, I didn't do nothing. Everybody knows Suge Knight ain't trying to hear all that. So Diddy tells Keefy D he would appreciate it if Suge Knight was gone. But it wasn't like an official request. It wasn't too serious until Tupac Shakur. Now, there's something really important you gotta know. Before any of this happened, Tupac was upset at his close friend Biggie and Diddy because, listen closely, when Tupac was in New York, he was recording in a studio. Biggie and Diddy were in another room. At that studio, Tupac gets 5 times after an attempted robbery, but Tupac survives. He tells Biggie and Diddy, I know y'all knew that was gonna happen. Biggie said, boy, do I look like Raven Simone? But you see, Tupac wasn't just spouting out crazy theories. The guy who Tupac had a relationship with Diddy, and well, Diddy was at the studio, and the streets talk. But not many people know this, but Tupac kind of got over it because he knew it was just a theory. But regardless, the East Coast and the West Coast split. People on the West Coast, where Tupac was from, was saying Biggie, and the East Coast, Tupac. But they weren't listening to what Tupac was saying. He said, no, he didn't. Tupac said, I just think he knew about it. And here's where things start to get wicked. A song drops from Biggie called Who Shot Ya? And it sounds like he's making fun of what happened to Tupac. Tupac loses it. Suge Knight approaches him and says, hey, you hate Biggie and Diddy. I hate Biggie and Diddy. Why don't you join my label? Tupac also didn't have much choice because Suge Knight paid his bail, but that's besides the point. They team up. Tupac says, sure. Also, I should probably let you know I have the potential to end this whole thing. Tupac had a nuke called Hit 'Em Up, a song considered as the greatest diss track of all time, where Tupac is going in on Diddy, Biggie, and anyone associated with them. Suge Knight said, God damn, why didn't you release this? Well, the story goes, somebody slid Diddy a copy of Hit 'Em Up. Diddy said, God, he can't release this. So Diddy takes the beat, and Diddy's label records a new song over it. Tupac hears the song, and he is pissed, but he holds on to his version so he could really make it venomous. And here's where things get wickeder. Biggie and Diddy are flying out to LA for an award show. The pilot said now arriving in sunny California. Also, Diddy, Suge Knight still looking for you. Diddy said, what'd he say? The flight attendant said, oh, he said, we're cooking for you. Are you okay? Diddy said, oh. See, Diddy was still paranoid about what Suge Knight was finna do to him. Now Tupac on his ass too, he freaking out. Biggie said, chill, yo, they're not gonna do nothing. They did something. Biggie and Diddy arrive at the award show. Tupac wins an award, but they don't let him go on stage because the award show knew what he was on. They saw him backstage. He said, is Diddy here? They said, no, you can't go outside. Biggie then wins an award. Biggie then goes backstage with Diddy. Suge Knight and Tupac are backstage, and it gets to cracking. Them boys start scuffling. Something important to note is the whole time Crips and Bloods are like mixed into this whole thing. Biggie's friend goes, man, what's good? He brings out the... But everybody gets separated before it could really escalate.
One of the most shocking revelations, long kept under wraps, is now emerging. The target was allegedly Suge Knight, but Tupac was mistakenly caught in the crossfire. If true, this could completely change the narrative surrounding that tragic night.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. You might be right about that, man. You know they got some more indictments coming for Diddy, though, right? Tupac murder, you think it's one of them or no?
Well, Pac is a state case. Pac is a state case. Pac would never be a federal case unless they can find something that he did that comes under the federal guidelines. They're not gonna add Pac case if they have something to do with that. If he has something to do with that, they're not gonna add it unless it comes to some banking stuff. Like, you hear guys talk about, yo, Gene Deal said he saw a check. Bruh. Gene Deal also said I wasn't the only one who saw the check for $1 million that Eric Martin had, AKA Eric Von Zip. I wasn't the only person who saw it. And on my program, I had named about 3 people who saw it. But my whole thing about it is this. If they find out that some way he talked to somebody and had them write a check or pay Zip the way they pay Zip, and it gets back that he has something to do with it, that might bring some federal charges against him. I don't know. All I know is that case is a state case. Nevada versus, Keefe D. You know what I'm saying? Unless they can get something like that. Some phony money wiring into account and getting it to Zip, but they can follow that. See, you know the funny thing about that whole shit with that check stuff is that not one individual who has the ability and the authority to run and see that Eric Martin cashed a check for $1 million. They never said it wasn't a check for $1 million. Greg Kading, none of them never said there wasn't a check for $1 million, because all they had to do is run his accounts. Did he ever receive a check from $1 million from Jimmy Henchman, Blackground Records, Barry Hankerson? Did he ever receive that check? Everybody always say, ain't nobody paying nobody with no $1 million check. Ain't nobody writing no check. I didn't say the check was for nobody's death. I said after Pac's death, we saw a check. Eric Von Zip had it for $1 million. He said he got it for Blackground Records. I don't never know him owning Blackground Records or doing a record label or anything. He may have. I don't know. But I do know I saw that check for $1 million, and I know who he said he got it from and what it was for. Nobody never said it wasn't a check though. But we checked the system, we checked the banking system. He ain't cashing that no check cashing place. He put it in some account. It was written in his name.
But I will say him getting that check and the timing of it, yeah, it's suspect, man.
Yeah. We looked at each other. Me and my man said, Blackground Records, when that nigga started, you know he was in the music business? Nah, ain't no. Okay. You understand? Not one investigator, not one person came out and said, Eric Von Zip ain't never have no check in his account for $1 million from Blackground Records. They could check Blackground Records account. That's easier than checking Eric Martin, because they was in the music business. If he wrote a check for $1 million, then somebody had to, what? Approve that.
And how long was this after Tupac murder?
This was in early 2000s. It was in the early 2000s.